Hello, my friends. How are you doing? Thanks for joining. I hope you have a nice Easter day today. Hope you have a nice time. I have my Easter background today. Hi. So yeah, welcome to my live stream. Welcome home. Is that your username, or guess you're the first person? I think so. Yes. Awesome. Hi, Erich from Meidling. Hi. So my neighbor, basically, he's in the same city, different district. Hi, Andrej from Poland. How are you doing? Hi, Light from England. Hi, Matthew from New York. Hi, Michael from Aachen in Germany. How are you doing, everybody? Hope you're having a good day and a nice time and everything. Okay, that's the chat, so that's okay. Something seems to be missing. Where are the tips? Tip overlay. Thank you for the support donations. Oh, there we go. Okay, that was somehow not there. Okay, anyways, good. By the way, today I have prepared another page for the tips. So when I get a tip, I'm actually seeing it and it makes a sound. It shows your name on the screen and you can even send a message with that. It's not the greatest design, but I tried it out so you can see if that works out or not if you want to. It's completely optional, of course, just saying. Because last time I didn't see it because it went through Gumroad, and now it's not going through the Gumroad, it's going through Steam Elements, which has these dynamic overlays. So let's see. Okay. Hi, Volkmar. Thank you very much for joining. Have a happy Easter time. Whew, all right, good. So today I thought we could look a little bit into these overlays that I've created for you to play a little bit more around that, and also the weekly challenges about that. If you have other questions, of course, we can talk about that too. What else is there? I don't know. You tell me, let me know. How was your day? How did you celebrate Easter? If you celebrated at all. I'm half Greek, so I'm not that deep into Greek culture, but I think the Greek Easter is not yet. It's coming in the like several weeks or something like that. So I have to look that up actually. Let me check that real quick. Date Greek Easter 2021. Oh, that's in May. That's 2nd May. So there is a good month more. Yes, it's in a month. Okay, good. Also a Sunday. Interestingly enough, is it always a Sunday? I think it's always a Sunday. I'm sorry, I'm not. I'm not that religious, to be honest. Okay, so yeah, good. Hi, Andrea from Turin in Italia. How are you doing? Hi, Annie from South Carolina. Yeah, it's just one overlay for now. I have to improve over time and see how that works, but. Let's see. Maybe it's good, maybe not. Half Greek and what else? Half German. That's just a crazy mix. By the way, if you didn't know, the Greek flag are Bavarian colors, as far as I know. Maybe that's just a legend, but they come because they have these colors blue and white because they had a Bavarian king for a short time before they kicked him out again. Yeah, so I'm pretty certain that this is where the blue and white flag is coming from. Yeah. Anyways, so that's the mix, German and Greek. Okay. So today, like I said, I have already looked up some pictures on Unsplash. We can switch over here. Bloop. There we go. Okay. And I searched for some stage pictures where we can also look into other pictures. So there's some nice stuff here. There's like this picture also here, and there's other things. And I thought we could maybe spice them up a little bit so you get a little bit more information on what could happen with these overlays, right? So yeah, I hope that's interesting. And by the way, let me know if you want to see more. Oh, wow. The first person already tried it out. Hi, Matt and Kara. Thank you very much. Wait a second. I think I can also see the messages here. Can I see the messages here? Yes, there it is. Awesome. Okay. So I can read the messages also. Keep the quality content coming. Give PLZ. What is PLZ? The Postleitzahl? German Postleitzahl? Give, please? What does it mean? I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that. But thank you very much. That's absolutely great. Yeah, and I hope I can keep the quality coming. By the way, another thing what I wanted to talk about. Yeah, with the overlays. Because these PNG overlays are like, at the same time, they are not as versatile as when you create a gradient, which I did in the past, as you know. Let's download this one picture here. Where is it? Let's take this picture here, for example. It's very like reduced. There's not much going on in the picture, so this is a good starting point, I guess. That seems to be pretty large from resolution. Let's see. We can resize that a little bit, I guess. Oh, this is the pictures from last time. How big is this? Not that big, actually. Okay, cool. What did I want to say? Yeah, with the overlays. So if you have overlays, like for example a gradient overlay, as I've created for you in the past. Let's do this real quick here. Let's create something in blue. Why do I not have colors? Why is there no color preview here? Oh, okay, I'm in the wrong section. Okay, good. So just like this, let's set this to screen, and then let's blur this also. Let's go here with, let's say, 500 pixels. And you can do it like this, and you can create some interesting life. But first of all, in a gradient, you don't have structure. So this is kind of the trade-off, where you could say, I can have these effects, and they are very small. They don't need much space on the on my hard drive and stuff like that. And they are very versatile because you can resize them, put them in any kind of shape and form, and recolor them and stuff like that. But of course, they don't have structure inside of them, and that's a problem. And with you have a PNG overlay, you can use it in a lot more different kinds of software, because the gradients are also just for Affinity Photo, while the PNG overlays can be used in, I don't know, Photoshop and Lightroom and Luminar and even video software, stuff like that. It's not animated, but you know what I mean. So it has more potential in that sense, and you can do a lot more with that, right? Okay, sorry that I'm talking really quick right now. Okay, 1 second. Let's have a look at the chat real quick. What was the last thing I've read, by the way? Oh, there we go. Andrea, hi, thanks. Laurie from UK, hi, how are you doing? John says, hi, Olivio. I'm in a rock metal concert photographer, and those atmospheric overlays help me with loads of lighting. Would you do a tutorial on how to make them ourselves too? Okay. Yes, it's well, it depends on what you want to do, basically, right? It was a smiley. Oh, it was a smiley. Okay, thank you very much. Awesome, thanks for the donation. What was I about to say? Oh yeah, how to create them. So there's a lot of different ways you can create them. As you know, there is software like Filter Forge, for example, that you can use for that. It is very good. Let me have a look here, Filter Forge. This software. You can go to filters, and then you can search for different kind of effects. So for example, you can see here there's a thunder, lightning thing, and then you have some other stuff, and you can also search for stuff. Let's say, I don't know, let's go and just enter light here. You can see I've searched for different things here because I created these overlays actually also with Filter Forge. The downside is that if you want to build something, because you can build your own effects. Is there a picture here where we can see that? There we go. This one here. With these nodes, you can build your own effects, but that is a little bit complex, like actually very complex to do, especially if you want to have something specific and you can't do animations either. So that's a bit more complex. The light beams I have created in a 3D software because I wanted to have, first of all, actual light or a simulation of actual light, and then I wanted to have full control over where the light beam is coming from. So this was done in Blender, which is a free software. Blender. So, Blender Guru? No, sorry, that's not what I want. Blender. My cat is acting up. I'm not sure if you can hear that in the background. I don't know what he wants. He's screaming for something, but he has everything he needs. So This is a free software they can use to create really advanced animations, but you can also create light. I need to research that a lot more to create better overlays for you in the future. Also 3D things, maybe even 3D settings, stuff like that, 3D backgrounds. There can be done a lot of interesting things there. Let's have a look at the chat here real quick. Can you link the pic you're using in the chat? Hi, Christian. Frohe Ostern. Thank you very much. You mean the picture, this picture here that I'm using? I hope I can use his likeness in the stream. I'm going to delete the pictures afterwards because I don't know him. He probably doesn't want me to post a picture of him on Instagram, although it's on Unsplash, you know? So technically, I should be legally okay with that because it's on Unsplash and the photographer needs to know if that's okay or not. So, but you never know if they have actually asked. I'm not sure if I can... Hi, Inner City. How you doing? Thanks. Where are you coming from, by the way? Please also write the location. It's also always interesting. So this is the picture I'm using right now, if you want to see that. Pogo Gamer. That's an interesting way to write that. Hi, how you doing? Some new names I've never seen. Thanks for joining. Yeah, so this is what I'm using for that. These two software tools for the pack. And still, you take some time for experimentation, all that learning. So there's a ton of hours going into figuring that out. Even if the pack is, well, how could I say that in a good way? It has a certain level of complexity. It's not super complex, but it's more built like a kit, you know. And this, by the way, I'm sorry if I'm talking so much today. Let's do some editing here before people get angry and say, hey, you're just talking again. Let's do some stuff and then I talk at the same time. So what was I about to say? I don't remember. Oh yeah. So I have seen other packs because I'm looking at what other people are doing, and I'm, to be honest, I don't want to like toot my own horn, but I have seen other packs, and most stuff I have seen, I wasn't really happy with that stuff. So this really gave me more confidence in my own packs because the stuff that I create is actually pretty good compared to a lot of stuff out there. There's other stuff maybe also better, but my stuff is not too bad. It's actually pretty interesting. And also what most other packs do is they give you a finished overlay that already has all the effects built into that. And I don't do that. What I do is I give you a building kit. So this is why I have the race. I have the race individually from the dust, so you can put it in on your own, right? And that makes a lot more sense. And also, I'm not so stingy with the number of overlays. Like often you only have like a very limited number, and I try to do as many interesting overlays as possible, right? Hi, Court. How are you doing? Thanks for joining. Pogo Gamer, born in Spain, living in England. Now Manchester. Oh, that's very nice. I followed you on for a while. Thank you very much. That's awesome. Inspiration to us all. Keep up the great work. I try to. Absolutely. I'm always trying to improve myself. I also watch like tutorials also to learn more stuff, to improve in different areas, and also see what's evolving because the market is always changing. So that's a really interesting thing. Wow. Okay. So this picture has a pretty high resolution. By the way, if you drop this in and it's smaller than the picture, doesn't mean that the overlay is smaller. I have to actually look, how big are my overlays? They are 3,800 by 2,100, and this picture is 5,400 by 3,600, so it's bigger, right? But it's still okay, because the good thing here is we have these smooth gradients in here and still the light rays. So, by the way, I put this in, I just dragged it in, which is a really easy way to do that. And then you simply set that to screen, and you already have a nice light in here. You see, and you can put it wherever you want, and you can also try another overlay. If you think like this, for example, should be the light source, you can simply go in here and then use maybe this or this as an overlay, or something like this. We can also put this in, you know, there's no limitation. The only limitation is how much your computer can take, right? So you can also do multiple, like this, you see? I can put this over here and make it kind of look like the light is coming from this source or maybe from this source if I want to, and put it like this. By the way, if you wanted to rotate around this point where the light is coming from, what you can do is you go up here to where it says enable origin point, like this. And then you have this origin point here in the middle. I'm not sure if you can see that. Let's zoom in here a little bit. This origin point here. It's getting smaller. I can't make it bigger. But you can move this over here to that point. You see, like this. Okay, it's snapping a little bit. But now it's kind of at that point. You can see I can even zoom in and then make it a little bit more exact. And now I can rotate it. And you can see it's now rotating around that point. So that is also very helpful. And it's also... Whoops. Okay, that was not good. When you hold shift, no, not shift, sorry. When you hold control, it's also resizing around that point, as you can see here. So I can make this as large or small as I want to, right? What is Harman asking? Can I use the latest pack as an asset in Affinity? Yes, you can do that. I personally am not a fan of that, to be honest, because the assets are too small as a preview. And when I go into Windows, I can have these huge previews where I can actually see what's going on. I'm not even sure this is the biggest size. Let's see here. Yeah, this is actually the biggest size. But I can also double click on that and then have a huge preview if I want to. So I enjoyed it a lot more. Also, it has the huge benefit that you know where they are stored, because the assets, I don't know where they go, to be honest, but these files are on my own folders, in my own folders, so I know where they are. I can move them if I need to. I can save them with the project. That is also important. If you want to do that, for example, if you want to send a project to a customer or want to take it with you on location, stuff like that, you just copy the folder to your work computer or whatever and take it with you or send it to someone. Yeah, don't just spread my packs around because it supports me and my living. But yeah, if you send it to customers, of course, that's okay. All right. Hammer says, can you please teach us how to turn someone into a realistic statue? I don't know. By the way, is my sound okay? It looks a little bit loud. But I tested it before. Like this time I actually started streaming basically 1 hour before the stream. So I set up everything and then set everything up. And so it should be okay. I made the sound a little bit quieter. Should be okay now. I don't know. We could maybe do a tutorial about that, but not today maybe. Not in the live stream anyways. Okay, so now we have this. And of course, as I've shown you in the video, you can now go in here. And by the way, you can go up here to Assistant Manager and set this up, as I said, to adding adjustment layers to selection, and then select in here, add adjustment as child layer. So it's already set up as the correct layer configuration, if you know what I mean, right? So if I go in here and I now create an HSL adjustment, I can now, for example, relight this. Let's make this blue, and then the other one pink looks actually good. And then, oh yeah, let's open this up again and give it some more saturation like this, like so. Okay, good. And the other one, let's go in here and then say we want to have brightness and contrast, which magically works in a way where the light gets brighter, but the dark part of the picture as an overlay does not get brighter. It's really interesting that works. And you can see if I pull this down with the contrast, this also gives me more color in my light. And so very easily I can spice up this image and have a pretty cool result for that, right? So let's also push this like so. And then, as you know, you can go here and create a mask for that. And then you can just go in here with your brush. 1 second. Let's set the opacity lower, like so. And then it's still a little bit high. Let's go like this. That's better. Okay. And so, for example, I could say I want to have less light here in the front because the light is coming from the back. And this is just, of course, addressing the green light right now. So you can go like this, and then you can see that this takes away a lot of the light from him. You can even take away more of the light if you want to, but with these two overlays, we have already spiced it up quite a lot. You can see here, this is the original picture and this is the edit. And that's pretty cool, right? And that's just 2 overlays with a little bit of adjustment. You can do more stuff, of course. And then we haven't even touched the the fog or smoke and the dust that we can apply to that. What does the, wait a second. Can you export the assets to an external HDD? I do this. Yes, absolutely, you can do that. Absolutely. Today, I would suggest if you have working files that you're using, that you use an SSD drive, which is a SSD drive, solid state drive. The reason for that is that it doesn't need to spin up, so you can like use the files right away, and also it doesn't have any moving parts, so it's a lot safer than a classic hard drive. You can still use the classic hard drive for storage, where you have all the files that you're not working on right now and you don't touch too often, because the HDD drives with the disks inside, they're still cheaper. You can get multiple terabytes. You can also get them very small, but if you travel a lot, or if you have working files, I would say get a maybe 500 something gigabyte solid state drive. They are not very expensive, and it's very safe and it's very fast. Also, it's I think at least 10 times faster than a classic hard drive, right? Okay. Let's put some overlays in here too, for the effects. And this is what I meant with the building kits, right? So you have here, sorry, this is the new ones that I added. By the way, if you don't know how you get these overlays, because I sent out an email to everybody who has bought the Pro Pack before I added this update to it, go to your original receipt that you got from the purchase, and there's a download link in there, and then simply download the file again, and at the end it says updated and .zip, right? Because it's a zip file, you need to unpack that. There's all the files in there. It's quite a bit larger now, because as you can see, these are 3000 by 3000. Each of these overlays has around 9 megabytes, so this is adding quite a little bit of size here. How much is it? 130 megabytes roughly, right? So yeah, okay. Let's have some smoke here. Let's pull this in here. As you can see, I can just pull this in. Whoa, I moved the light. By the way, if you don't want this to happen, that you accidentally kick something around, you can just go here to the lock, and also here lock. And now if I click here, I can't move this anymore. I can't accidentally click on that, right? Okay, so now I can resize this to any kind of size I want. And again, you can apply your adjustment layers if you want to. Let's first add inverted mask to that. So hold Alt key on your keyboard and then press the mask. And you can see this creates a mask which is black, which means you can see nothing on there. Don't forget to mask out the person sometimes at the light comes from the back of the artist. Yes, I already did that. I did it a little bit, not too much, because there's like also other lights. So how do you say? Light reflections, indirect light. You know, if you have the green light is shining onto the stage and then reflecting from the stage back to the person, there is probably also going to be some green color in the front of the person, even if the light is just coming from the back. But you can do it differently. Also depends on how you photograph this, right? So for example, we can here make a curve adjustment. Whoops, okay, this is on the smoke right now. And then make everything a little bit darker, like so, right? To get my cat is back. Okay. Oh God, I was sorry, caught me off guard. You see, like this, and so already we have a very different picture from before. You see, boom. There's Lolo. Lolo also wants to wish you a happy Easter. Let's go, Lolo. Hello, hello, Mitzi Bear. Hello, hello. It doesn't look into the camera. Okay. Hallo Lolo. Was bist denn so anstrengend heute? Hm? Du kleiner Bär. Setz dich ein bisschen her hier, komm. Aber sei brav, bitte. Okay, there we go. What was you talking about? Oh yeah, the smoke. Okay, so let's paint in some smoke. Pretty easy again. the only thing you need is now to use a white brush, because black means you can't see anything, and then white, it comes back. And then you want to set, you can set a round soft brush with a low opacity, and then simply paint that in the areas where you feel like there should be smoke. You can see here, I can add some stuff wherever I feel like there should be something. Or if you want to paint it out again, you just use the other color, paint it out again. And if you feel like the smoke is too bright, because it's white right now, you can of course also recolor that with the recolor adjustment. I've already shown you. I just want to show you some additional, like not additional things, but like additional cases on how to use that, right? So let's make a recolor here. This has already jumped onto the smoke. I would reduce it a little bit in lightness, because then it has some gray values in there, and you can see this immediately picks up the color, while when I go to 0, like so, it doesn't pick up much color because it's white, right? So this doesn't really recolor. But if I make it like this, a little bit darker, and so now I can set this up, for example, like so if I want to, right? Okay, good. So now the smoke has a little bit of color. You can give it any kind of color you want, but in most cases you probably want to have the smoke a similar color than the light that you're using. Oh my God, I'm an idiot. Why am I also so stupid? Always. Work life. There we go. So every single time I switch the screen, I forgot to switch it back. Maybe I need a third screen like up here that shows me a preview of the stream, so I get reminded what is going on. That always happens, sorry. Okay, so we are back. All right, let's do these last steps again. It wasn't too much, I hope. Okay, so here we have the smoke again. Yes, I've seen that. I think there's a little bit of a delay. I will wait a second, 1 second. I think you should be able to see my screen again, right? It's okay. There we go. Woohoo! Okay. Wow. Maybe if I stream for 10 years, I might be able to realize how to do that better. Okay, anyways, so you hold the Alt key and you click down here on the mask icon. There you go. So you have this black mask down here, which means it's inverted. And then you just take a brush like so. And you, like I said, you can use a round soft brush to paint this in. You could also try to use other brushes that have a little bit more texture in them to maybe have more control or give a more interesting effect for that. And you can see if I paint in here white, then this makes the smoke visible in here. And if I paint, you can see down here now it's too bright. So I just go to black and then I paint it in black again, right? So it's pretty easy. And the reason why I'm using multiple strokes here is because the opacity is very low. And I do that so I can paint in multiple strokes and not have to do it in one stroke. So I have a little bit more control over that, right? Let's go in here. Let's maybe give a little bit of smoke on his arm too. Okay. And then, like I said, you can recolor that. So select the smoke layer, go down here to adjustments and then to recolor. And then you want to, as you can see now, it's white and it does not pick up any color because it's white. So that doesn't work. So what you want to do is to reduce the lightness a little bit, like so. As you can see, now it's red. And now I can move this over and the smoke is also green like the background, right? So it's pretty easy. What time is it now in Austria? It's so 8 p.m. and 30 minutes right now. Hi, Pavel from Wuppertal. How are you doing? I took a short 10 minutes nap. Started 6 p.m. and just woke up. Oh, wow. Okay. That's good. That was a quick power nap, as they say, a power nap. Okay. Don't worry about missing the start. Can you do more mock-ups like the Netflix one you created? We could do that too. Yeah, that would be fun. Like, it would be interesting to maybe recreate some other works again, right? Also from people from Pinterest and stuff like that to recreate what they have designed. It's a really good learning process to do it like that. Whoops. Okay, sorry. Okay, so as you can see, we have painted in some smoke in here, and then you can also do a second layer back here. And this has to be a second layer. The reason for that is because this is a red light, so you want to have the smoke in a different color, so you need to recolor that in a different color, right? So let's do this again. And this is why I put in different layers here for the smoke, so you have a choice between different kinds of smoke, so they don't repeat. That's what I was getting at, right? Okay, let's rotate this a little bit like so, maybe. Okay, again, hold Alt, create a mask, paint in some smoke with a brush and white, like so. And then we are going to add, again, select the smoke layer, and then adjustment, recolor, and then make this a little bit darker, like so. And this is already red. We can go over here to pink. Actually, pink is a little bit better, maybe. Yeah, let's make it pink. It's a little bit more visible. Okay, good. So that's basically what you're doing. What does the chat say? 1 second. It seems that the effect is limited to darkish backgrounds. Yes, it is, but that's natural, right? If you go to a club and they turn on the lights, you don't see the stage light anymore. You don't even see the laser light anymore because the light is drowning out everything else. You can't have a nice light beam in a space that is bright, right? So a light beam is always in contrast to the dark background, right? There is like daylight projectors, but even with daylight projectors, you only see the picture. You're not seeing the beam, right? While at night you can see the beam if there's some smoke, right? So this is completely normal that it works like that. Are these available now for purchase? Yes, absolutely. Is there no information, no link? Give me a second. Why is my chatbot not doing anything? That's strange. Wait a second. Give me a moment so I find the link for you. That is very strange. Oh, that's already it. Okay. 1 second. No. Let's go here. Okay. Let's put this in the chat. Restore chat. There we go. Get my mythical light beam pack. There you go. Boom. Okay. So that's the link for the pack. Okay. What else was in the chat that I missed? 1 second. And then we go to the second picture. Let me see. Do you use levels and visualizing clipping with Alt key? It is laggy for when you moving sliders. Levels. Visualize? It does that? I don't know. Does it? You mean these, the blend ranges? What kind of levels do you mean? The blend ranges? Let's see if I hold Alt. It doesn't... Oh, I'm not sure what you mean by that. You have to elaborate. Do you use levels and visualize clipping? Or do you mean a levels adjustment? Like so. Let's put this in here. Oh. I've never seen that. Why is this not a part of other things? It's very laggy though. It's extremely laggy. Okay. I've never seen that before. Why is this not part of the blend ranges? Because this would be much more useful in blend ranges. That is strange. I've never seen that before. Interesting. Yeah, there's some stuff I don't know about Affinity Photo either, because I mean it has thousands of functions, and of course there's always some things you don't use. So interesting. I've no idea. I had no idea about that. But still, it seems like the blend ranges would be much more useful for that, so you know where the blend range is actually going. But when I hold Alt here, it doesn't give me the same thing. So that's strange. Interesting. No, I've never used that. That's interesting. Okay. Good. Let's do another picture. Let's close this. Not saving, like I said. Let's have a look here what else we can do. Which one should we do? There was this... wait a second. This one is pretty cool. We could use this one because this is kind of not a stage picture. I'm not even sure what that is. It looks like an entry to a strange kind of club or something. I'm not sure. Or maybe it's some kind of... Maybe it's a stage. I don't think it's a stage. I'm not sure what that could be. But, I mean, this could be very interesting for the atmospheric light overlays, right? Because in here, I mean, you could put some beams in there too. We can try that too. But these atmospheric overlays, and you can see some of them, like this one, have a little bit of smoke structure in here. And you can still also recolor them. This is the cool thing about them. You have like 15 different overlays in here, but you can do thousands of them just by recoloring them, right? And then you also have only one color. So if I set this to screen, as you can see, we already have some interesting light in here. You can also resize that and rotate that and all kinds of things that you want to do in here. So let's see what we can do here to give this a bit more. This is horizontal, I'm sorry. So maybe you're seeing less of the picture right now. I hope it's still interesting. Let's go to brightness here. Push the brightness a little bit up. Push the contrast a little bit up so we have some more color in here, like so. And that already looks pretty interesting, right? What you can also do, by the way, is that you can, of course, mask out different areas. So I can say I duplicate this here, and then I put a mask on this one, and just mask out the red light on top so I can use that individually. So let's go here to 100% and just remove that from the picture. So I only have the lower effect right now. And then let's lock the children here so this is not moving. And then I can turn this on again and I can do the opposite, right? I can go here and then I again create a mask. Whoops, the mask should be on here. And then I paint out this lower part here, like so. And so now you can see the children are locked for all the layers, which is a little bit strange. It would be interesting to have this individually, but it's also okay if it's for all the layers. What locking means, by the way, is I can now move the picture without moving the mask in here. The mask stays put, which before was not the case. And so this means I can also make this this smoke bigger. I can also, let's see, duplicate this again and then put this over here to the other side. Well, that's maybe a little bit too much. Okay, let's not do this. Yeah, so let's turn on the lower side, and already we have created something interesting. And because I can use these individually, like so, you can see I can turn the smoke into any kind of direction if I want to. So there's a lot of possibilities in here. You can also make that bigger, of course, and then maybe pull this a little bit lower, like so. And then again, use your mask and just paint in here to remove it maybe from these areas a little bit more, right? So that's pretty easy to do that. What else could we do here? I'm not sure. I think this is a little bit too much on the top, right? Looks a little bit strange. Let's delete the mask again. No, we need the mask, sorry. Oh, I created two masks. Okay, so we can delete one of them. And then, oh, we could do another thing here. Sorry. Voice is breaking up. We could go over here and use the mesh warp tool like so. And this is, by the way, rendering the image. You can see here now it's rendered to this size. So it's a destructive thing. Would be cool if it was non-destructive, but this allows me to now move this around, as you can see here. Maybe zoom in a little bit more. You can see I can move this to any kind of a way I want to. Drag this down on this side, pull it up on the other side, or any kind of thing where you feel like this is how it should be, right? So let's pull this over here. And so with this, you can see we can kind of surround the gate like that. We could actually make some rays coming from the middle. Let's apply this here real quick. And then let's see, we have these rays that are coming at the camera. Sorry, pointed camera. We have this one or this one. Let's try this one maybe here, down here, this. Okay. Like so. Let's maybe make it like so. Make it a little bit bigger. And then let's see what we can do with that. Brightness and contrast. By the way, let me see if there's something in the chat. Sorry, I think I missed a lot of stuff. 1 second. Yeah, it's very laggy, right? Soda Pop says Coral Particle Shop works very well with Affinity Photo, but it's paid unless you get it for cheap on Humble Bundle. Coral Particle Shop. I've never heard of that. Let's see. Oh, okay. So this creates brushes. What does it do? Or is it like automated effects on the pictures? What the hell? Yeah, okay. I feel like Coral often they try to be good, but they are not really good. Like, look at this. What is this? These white things here. What is this supposed to be? It's a bit strange, right? I don't know. Or like, I suppose this is the original picture, and then you have this kind of effect, which is again, am I looking through a wet window? I'm not sure. Coral is kind of strange. They try to do, they have been very good at the past, and they have some very cool things also. The Painter software is, I think, not too bad for doing these digital paintings, but then often they have some things that are trying to be something, but it doesn't really work. So it's a little bit strange. Painter Essential. I think I even have Painter. I've never used it though. Holy shit, that's 430? Okay, I don't think I have Painter. I may have Painter Essential then. Or not? I don't know. Let me see down here. Painter? No. Oh, there, from Humble Bundle. I have, yeah. I don't know if I have Painter or not, but I have this Coral bundle where there is a lot of software in there. Maybe I even have this particle thing. I have to check that out. I don't know. Oh, limited time offer. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, anyways. Let's go back to the picture. It's a FX brush engine, but with Humble Bundle. Coral gives all their product for like $30. I see. So maybe I have that. Soda Pop. Filter Forge, I would use that standalone. It says it works with Affinity Photo, but it's not super stable, so I would really rather use it outside of that as a standalone software. And then let's use Recolor here, and then play around with that. Okay, 1 second. Let's turn all of this off and then make a quick selection of that guy here. But like I said, I've never tried that software, so maybe it's really good. I can't really say anything about that. Maybe it's a really awesome effect tool for particle effects and brush effects and stuff like that. Where Affinity Photo is a little bit short anyways on these paint effects. So they could have some better stuff. Okay, so now we invert that pixel selection. So now we have everything except the guy. And now I put this on here. And this maybe should look good. Let's see. Boom. It's not too bad. Let's start with the light here. Let's make some more adjustments. Maybe reduce the saturation a little bit. That seems to be a little bit too extreme. That's not too bad. Let's see what the contrast is already up like very much. So this might be a little bit too bright. Let's make a curve adjustment also. That's actually getting better. So I always want to suggest like play around a little bit with the, what was I about to say? Yeah, with the different adjustment layers, right? Play around with the different adjustment layers to see what you can get from that. Wait a second, I want to make a selection here. Yeah, okay, so when you hold Control and then you click on the mask again, it gives you the selection again. And so now what I can do here is when I invert that again, like so, invert, I can now paint a little bit into the mask because the mask should be, there should be a little bit of light bending around him. So let's try this real quick. Not too much. Let's make this big and then also low opacity like so. And then just paint it in a little bit like so. It made some sound. I don't know if that was a donation or not. Or was it a follow? It says something like follow. Okay, let's see how well that went. That's better. I would say that's better. We have, now we probably want to create some shadow behind him. I will simply paint that in roughly right now. Let's make a second mask for the shadow here. By the way, what stream time do we have? Because we also need to do, it's only 50 minutes? What? I'm too quick today. I need to slow down. I think I'm gonna do a toilet break now. Okay. Let's make some shadow here behind him, like so, where there's less light. Maybe that was a bit too much. Let's see, let's go a little bit back and forward here. Paint this in again. Okay, that seems to be okay. So now we can try these overlays here. Does this add some atmosphere? It's not too bad, right? Maybe we want to recolor this smoke down here a little bit. Let's see, recolor. That is way too strong. Let's see what kind of colors we can have here. Or should we have the same smoke in the lower part? Because this is now, I mean, it's not too bad, but it's just kind of bright, right? Let me see if we pull this image down here a little bit. Like so. There's actually some smoke structure in here too. That's nice. Let's paint this out here a little bit. Sorry. Can you see everything? Yes. I'm sometimes, or like often, I'm working zoomed out. The reason for that is, first of all, because you want to see what you're doing, and then also you have to move around things. So that often requires that you're more zoomed out. But for you, that's not so great because then you don't see as much, right? Okay, that's actually kind of interesting, right? We can do some extra stuff, but yeah, I feel like that's interesting. The free flaming peer plugin. Are you? Everybody's. Did you also suggest this last time? Because someone is suggesting that again and again. So I have to look into that. Affinity very much like Photoshop for artists. It has actions like convert bright to opacity to make scanned paper drawings. Ah, okay. Ah, interesting. Just line work for coloring. Yeah, that's interesting. These kind of effects. Also with Gimmick, you can do that. Also, I have a tutorial on my channel for the effect too, if you want to. Always, if you search for something, go to my channel and then go down here to this icon. It's very hidden. I wish they would put it somewhere else. Click on that and search and go drawing, for example. And then you can see, for example, this video here that I made a year ago for this kind of drawing effect on paper, these kind of things. Yeah, so check that out if you want to. Like I said, this little very hidden search area down here gives you a lot of access to different kind of things, different kind of effects. Is there something else we want to do here with this? I feel right now that's pretty okay. Should we maybe make a vignette around everything on the outside? By the way, we could try something. Let's create a curve here real quick, like so, on everything. Pull that down from the brightness, like so. And then let's see if I now paint this in. Or out. Paint it out, not in. Paint it out. Like so. I should have a vignette, sort of. Okay, let's make this a little bit stronger because don't want to sit there tomorrow. Okay, so let's see. Nah, kind of works, right? Let's zoom out. This edge here is a little bit strong. This is what why it's good to zoom out. So you can see here on this side. Let's reduce this a little bit. Oh, and this is what happens. Oh no, what did I do? Redo. Why is there a pixel layer now? Okay, let's delete that. Curves adjustment. Okay, good. So you can see now we basically have used the curve as a vignette in the sense of just making things darker around the image, which is not completely a vignette. It's just more like a, just getting darker a little bit around the edge, right? So yeah, that's, let's have a copy here of the original image. Duplicate this, put it up here. So we went from this, which is on its own a pretty cool image, to this, with our effects on that. So yeah, I would say that's pretty interesting. Very different situation. Okay, cool. I think I might actually save that, can work on that later a little bit more. Light Beam Live 01. Okay, there we go. All right. I try blend modes on blend ranges, and Olivia had a composition stream with the moon and clouds. Yeah, the blend ranges are really useful. What you do with the blend ranges is that you remove things either from the layer or depending on what is in the layer or depending on what is below the layer, right? I can show you real quick. So look at this. I will quickly download a flame, like so. I don't know. Let's go with this one here. Save this. I will throw this in here real quick. 1 second, like so. Okay, so now we have fire. And you can see there's black here. Instead, you can of course blend this like so, but what you can also do is you can go here to the blend ranges, and so you can see there is black in here and then everything else is bright. So these are the source layer ranges, which means the source layer is the layer that you are have selected right now, while the underlying composition ranges is everything that's below that layer, right? So when I click here, so I make an extra point and then I pull this down, you can see that the dark parts are getting removed. And then of course, you can see that here's some brighter parts, so I can move this in and gradually make basically a selection of sorts that allows me to have the full image with all the colors with no blend mode. So you can see the colors are more intense. You still have all the contrast in there and everything. And at the same time, the background is removed basically, right? So this is very helpful, right? You can use that to do a lot of things. And as long as this, I will rename this to fire so you can see what's going on here. On the right side, you can see here in brackets, it says image. That's really important that it says image, because as long as this is an image layer, not a pixel layer, you can use the layer effects on that. And I don't understand why this doesn't work with pixel layers. But as long as you have an image layer, I can now go in here and say outer glow, and I can put a glow around that, as you can see. And then I can, for example, make that an orange glow and get back, or maybe a red glow like this, and get back some of that fire effect, as you can see here, right? With the glow. This is not really refined as a glow, but you can imagine what you can do if you play around a little bit with these settings in here. Let's make this orange again. And you can also reduce set up the radius. And you want to really click here on this little cogwheel, because this gives you the intensity. I'm not sure why they didn't add this here, because it's just one more slider. And this slider is extremely important because it makes it lighter or darker. So this is basically the most important thing of the glow, but it's not part of this, but it is part of this. So it's really important to open up these settings here, right? As you can see here, it can go super extreme or like a very slight glow. Okay, for some reason also the glows don't have gradients, so it's just one color. It would be awesome if they had gradients, but you can't do that in Affinity Photo. All right, so that's it for the blend ranges, right? Okay. Let's hide this here, maybe actually delete this layer and then save this and close this, and we can look for another picture. And then I would say we gradually go over to start and do the review for this week's challenge, right? Okay, awesome. All right. What else should we edit? What should we have a look at to play around? This is kind of nice here. We could also do this. This is kind of funky here. Why is there a teddy bear? I don't know. I don't know what that says. Does it say Obama? I'm reading that right? Does this say Obama here or what? I can't read it. It's a very strange picture. Teddy bear here. It looks like it, right? Oh, no, Orama. No, what is this? This is an O, right? Bama. I have no idea what's going on right now. Okay, what else do we have here? Nice stage. Okay. Oh, that's a cool picture. Man, I'm so happy when the pandemic is over. I spent so much money last year to buy new equipment to make videos for you and photo shootings and stuff. And then there's pandemic and you can't really organize projects. to do elaborate photo shoots and stuff like that. Traveling is really hard. So yeah, everything is on hold right now. Drama. Oh, it says drama? Drama, yeah, okay. Drama. I wouldn't have thought about that. I wouldn't be great with this. What is it called? The Wheel of Fortune or something? Where you buy these letters and then you have to like figure out what the word is. I would be horrible with that. Drama. Okay, interesting. That's a cool picture still. I don't know what is going on, but it's pretty cool. Also very nice. This is kind of, oh god, it's very blurry. Okay, so we can't use that. Maybe let's try to do something with this picture. There's already a lot of interesting light in here. Let's just play around with the overlays and then we go to the challenge. And by the way, if you have any other questions, any other thing you want to talk about, let me know in the chat. And also use the link for the tip because, well, I just set that up. So that would be cool if you want to. All right. By the way, I should also post the other link again for, if I can find that, there it is, for the pack. Boom. This is the pack. Check it out. Let's make this 3 times so everybody can see it. Hey, Thinkuti, I don't know. Thank you, YouTube. I don't know what that says, but no spamming, please. I don't know what that means, but okay. Open Tunes is like free tune bone harmony. I don't know what that is. Open Tunes. Okay. Anyways, let's play around a little bit with these overlays and then we go to the challenge for the week. Where is that? There it is. Okay, good. Pro Pack, atmospheric light overlays. Let's see what we have in here. Let's pull in several of them and then we can try around what they are doing, how we can integrate that to have some variety. So let's take these 4, which is also nice if you have them in here. It's very quick to select them. It's very fast to just drag them in here. Is this another really high resolution picture? 6,700 by 4,400. Okay. But like I said, it's no problem if you resize this. First of all, if you drag it in here, it doesn't mean this is the original size. And then if I just like size this like so, it's completely not a problem. There you go. Let's hide them real quick. Did you manage to see the old picture I edited from the shot last week? I posted on your page. I probably didn't. You mean from the last challenge? I probably didn't because it was after the end of the challenge. But maybe I did. Did I react to that? Probably not, because then you would know that I've seen it, right? So yeah, okay, wow. Right off the bat, pretty interesting thing. You can paint this out. If you don't like this structure, like I said, you see there's these beams in here. If you say, no, this is not what I need, simply go in here to effects and then turn up the Gaussian blur. You can also preserve alpha, depending on how big your overlay is. Like if it's, yeah, just click on preserve alpha. And you can see now they are gone, right? You can see if I turn this on, there they are. And now they're gone. There's a little bit of structure left. So if you want, you can make it even stronger for the Gaussian blur. And this makes it soft and also removes any kind of pixelation. If you would stretch it too big and there would be any kind of pixelation, any kind of fragments, this would remove it because this is a soft light overlay anyways, right? And again, like I said, you can recolor this. Just go adjustment, recolor, and then you can put this to any kind of color you want to. And of course also maybe reduce the saturation a little bit because this is too much. So you can see in a very short time you can create a lot of different looks. And the interesting thing is with the light you can create this kind of contrast. You can see here you have a lot of red light and now you have some blue light, and this creates a little bit of it brings more space into it, creates a little bit of contrast, and defines a little bit better what you're looking at. And you can also paint that out if you want to. If you say, okay, this is too much over here, just make a mask like I did before and paint out the effect in the areas where you don't need it. Let's turn this off and try another one. By the way, I can simply set all of these to screen, like so. Okay, so I don't have to do this individually. That's also interesting. That's also nice. The green is like, you sometimes need it, of course, especially for stage light. Of course, in this case, maybe, whoa, I'm on the wrong layer. Maybe it's too much. You can also, like I said, resize that, rotate that to get a little bit in the side way. If you rotate that, always look that you don't have the border in here like this, right? Because this then is, of course, a problem. You have a line in there. So always see that this is covering everything in the image if you want to do that, right? That's pretty important. I feel like this one is better for this image. And you can really create some very interesting lights with that, right? Something I haven't shown you at all today is, of course, I've shown this in my video, but still it's interesting. If you use a mask here, like so, is a normal mask right now. But what you can do in a mask is that you can create a gradient. Now, here's the thing. A mask is basically pixels. So the gradient is kind of rendered into the pixels when you let go of the gradient. So it's not like with a rectangle. I wish it would be like that, because then you could go back to it and readjust that. But as it is right now, when you draw a gradient like this, you can see here, and then I go to another tool like the move tool, and I go back to my mask, you can see there is no gradient anymore. The gradient is still there, but the handles of the gradient are not there anymore. So you basically, if you want to change the gradient, you have to redraw the gradient. So that's a little bit of a hustle to do that every single time. But I mean, often you don't change the gradient too much, right? And of course, this is now a linear gradient. If you can see, if I make it very small, you can see that I get this line here from top to bottom. And you can also, up here with the type, you can switch this to elliptical, radial. You don't need conical or these other things really, but radial can be useful for this case. So for example, I can put this here on the light and then just draw this out. And so as you can see, this then gives me a bit more atmospheric light around that light source here if I want to, right? Or you can just put take this part and move it any other way. For example, you say, okay, I want to have some more light back here that is coming from the overlay, right? So that's an easy way to manipulate your mask in a way. Well, how can I say that is easier? Not easier, but it's using a gradient which is very uniform in the way it's spreading out as a circle rather than when you paint it in. And it's kind of quicker to do this rather than to paint in different sizes of circles, right? So for that reason, using a gradient inside of a mask can be really helpful, right? Okay, so you can put this up here. You can put it wherever you want. You can also, by the way, this middle point here defines how strongly the gradient is fading from black to white, right? So you can also adjust this to make this a softer blend to the outside or a harder blend to the outside. So there's a lot of possibilities in here, right? So if I put this in here, I now just have a little bit more light on the upper right corner, right? So that's pretty easy. And you can still, like I said, the gradient is now rendered into the mask. Now I can start to, for example, to paint out different parts here and say, okay, I want to have still less light down here where his head is, like so. So I paint this out. And so now you can see this part is dark again. And still I have this light in the background, maybe, for example, to balance out the right side of the picture a little bit, right? So there's a lot of opportunity in how to use these masks. Can you teach what is AE? Full basic tutorial. What do you mean by AE? Do you mean Affinity Photo? AP? AE is After Effects. I don't know. Not sure what you mean. But what is a full basic tutorial? I tried multiple times to start to do basic introductions to Affinity Photo. The problem is, first of all, what is basic? And the second thing is, the basic things are so many things. You can talk 5, 6, 7, 8 hours about them and still not have covered the actual basic things. Like, for example, just as an example, if I would go through every of these tools individually and what they do to explain that just for the basics of what they're doing, that's already like a 30, 40-minute video just for the tool. So it's kind of impossible. I tried it and it's not really possible. I made some beginner videos where I explain individual tools. I have a lot of these beginner videos on my channel, so you can search for individual tools if you want to. Also these overlays, like try to describe all these overlays, what they're doing for a beginner purpose. This is another really long video because you want to explain what they're doing and how to use that, and then boom. You spend at least 5 minutes on each of them. So you can see there is easily like 25, 30 different layers in here, adjustment layers. So times 5, right? That's too much. Why would I do After Effects? I have a photo channel, right? That's strange. I think you mean Affinity Photo, maybe. So not a video channel. Okay, I would say let's go over to the weekly challenge. Sorry, my brain is stuck right now. Okay, give me a second so I can switch over. There we go. Let me switch this over to the other screen. There we go. Okay, so now you can see what I'm doing. This is too big, and then I need the chat again. Sorry, this went away. There we go. Okay. Is there a way to make an ND filter effect gradient filter in Affinity Photo? I don't know. Maybe. Isn't curves what an ND filter does? ND filter reduces the light that's coming through the lens, right? So if you use a curve or exposure, isn't exposure adjustment what that does? Where is that? There, exposure. Isn't that an ND filter? ND filter reduces the exposure, right? So basically this, right? They can have more exposure, can have less exposure. I'm not sure. Like an ND filter, as far as I understand, is like sunglasses. It just reduces the amount of light that's coming in, so you have more control over the settings and filters and stuff like that, right? Especially on very bright days, stuff like that. By the way, we can close this. Don't need that anymore. Okay. Adjustment layer and gradient mask. Gradient mask. Okay. You can't look after everyone. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I use atmospheric light overlays on a few photos. They are fantastic. Thank you very much, John. Awesome, thank you. By the way, let's have a look here in the donations panel. Maybe it missed something. No, it didn't. Okay, good. Good. So let's go back to, not back, but let's start with our review of this week's challenge, where we have some really cool entries. Let's restore the chat real quick. Gimmick. Is that the official Gimmick channel? Really? Hi. Are you the official Gimmick channel from the plugin? No, right? Just a quick note to thank you for your video presentation of the Gimmick plugin. For a few weeks ago, we were very happy to see you enjoy it. Oh, you are the original channel. Hi, thanks for joining my live stream. Yeah, that is a really interesting plugin. One of my fans suggested it to me, and then I tried it out, and it's really awesome. it has a lot of stuff in there, like a lot of things where I don't know what is going on. But the things where I kind of understand what is going on are really amazing, like even better than paid overlays. So I was really impressed by that. So that's pretty cool. By the way, while you're here, a lot of the people said that they really would like to have a Mac version. So I don't know if you're maybe working on that, although I have seen there isn't a Mac version for the GIMP plugin either. So I'm not sure if that's on your agenda or not, but a lot of people were interested in that. Just, there's a lot of interest in that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Very interesting plugin. By the way, is there like while we're at it, is there any kind of online wiki or something like that that describes some of the effects? Because some of them are rather complex, where it's kind of hard to figure out what they do. I think there is a little bit of a list or a preview. Let's go to the page real quick while you're here. Oh, there's resources. Sorry. I haven't looked at those to be... Oh, there's a wiki. Okay, so I'm asking without checking first. Okay, the wiki is... I'm not sure if the wiki is describing all the effects. There's projects also. No, this is something else now. Oh, we are at GitHub. Okay, so we changed over from that. Yeah. We don't have a Mac version, unfortunately, but found nobody able to compile it for Mac. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's the problem with that, right? Okay, I see. I told the people they can install like a virtual computer on their Mac if they want to use it as a Windows version, which is a little bit of a hassle, but it still works. So that's pretty good. Yeah, but it's pretty cool. Very amazing for all the things that this is offering. Pretty interesting. The wiki is not about the plugin filter, by the way. It's more about the coding of our filter. I see. Interesting. Is there like a plan for developing or like starting a wiki about the effects so people can check out what they do and how to use them? For example, if you go to Affinity Photo, one second. Inside of Affinity Photo, I can show you real quick. They have this thing here, which is kind of a handbook, and you can go to anything here and just have like a description of what these things are doing. Every little, like you go to, for example, like brush, and then you have here paintbrush strokes, and then it explains all the different things that is doing. So maybe as a community project, you can see there's a lot of information in here to understand what is going on, because some things are like extremely... They look extremely complex because I don't know what they're doing. So maybe that would help to, I don't know, make it easier for people to get into using the filters, right? But yeah, I'm pretty impressed, really impressed, especially for a free project. It's really amazing. Okay. Phil. Hi, Phil. Thank you very much. Only just bought Affinity Photo after using Photoshop and struggling. I actually prefer Affinity, and I'm enjoying exploring all the great features. Yes, absolutely. A lot of people are switching over from Photoshop, and also because Affinity Photo has less functions, it's easier to use because it's not as cluttered with all these kind of things that you probably never use in your life, but are still inside of Photoshop. So Affinity Photo is a pretty cool tool. Absolutely. Okay, let's go to the weekly challenge. So the first one is by Niels. Wow. Okay. Pretty impressive. Niels is really good at photo editing. He's always posting some really amazing stuff. And you can see here, this is the light beam he has added, and also a little bit of dust overlay. By the way, also a great idea to use this on a, how do you say, what is this? What is this part of the house? The, Speicher? In German, we say Speicher, which is interesting. It's a storage, basically, because you put stuff up there. The attic. Okay, yeah. German is a very functional language, right? So most words describe exactly what that thing is. It's really interesting. And we also have words, because we can stick words together like Lego. where how can I say, where English uses multiple words, we just have one word that describes exactly what's going on. Like, for example, you have the day after tomorrow, which is really like a little bit complex to think about. In German, it's just übermorgen, which is I don't know, over tomorrow, like after tomorrow, basically. Yeah, it's kind of similar, but you can see it's shorter and it's like just bloop, one word, very descriptive. Attic, there we go. That would be cool indeed to have a better documentation. We really need help for that. We only 2 main developers anyway. Thanks again for the exposure. Absolutely. I can absolutely, by the way, I can absolutely suggest to you, if you haven't done so yet, create a Facebook community like I have, because people can help each other, which is really great. You don't have time. You don't have to invest your own time to answer all these kind of questions. You can like send people towards that forum so they can chat with each other. And then you can also make sticky posts and announcements and polls and all these kind of things. And this could be a good starting point where you say, okay, this is the link to our wiki. We need all of your help. You have like 2,000-3,000 members in your Facebook community or wherever you want to build that community, and then guide everybody to that. And you can even make community events where you say, okay, this filter, now for this weekend, we are working on these 2-3 filters to just fill them with information on what they do, how they work, blah, 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 all these kind of things, right? So a community is always kind of a good thing to engage the community, connect with them, right? So that is something I can really suggest to you. Okay, let's go back to that. Yeah, really awesome. I think you even added some stuff here. Let's have a look. Did you post the original picture? Oh, he didn't. Okay. That would be interesting, because when I look at that, I think that this here, again, I don't know, the stroller doesn't seem to be here because it doesn't have a shadow, first of all, and it has different lighting on it. These boxes and the picture here don't seem to be here. And this is really interesting how our eyes are adjusted to that, right? If you look at that here and then you look at the brush, you can see that there is slightly different contrast. So you know that the picture is not actually there and the boxes can't either, because the contrast is different on the brush, and also the light has a different taste to it, right? It's a little bit more a darker reddish brown, while this is more of a sunny like beige brown, right? So this should be a little bit darker from the light that's falling onto it. It's really interesting. Okay, moving to Affinity was a great move, says Che. It's a one-off purchase compared to the Adobe subscription. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is also why a lot of people switch over to Affinity Photo, right? Okay, so really cool. I really enjoy that. You could, by the way, just as a little advice, you could use from these dust overlays multiple of them, and then make one maybe a little bit bigger but more blurred, and the other one smaller and less blurred. So you have this kind of depth of field effect where some of the dust particles are closer to the camera and others are further away from that. Yeah. Just by, like I said, resizing, put a little bit of blur. You can use the layer effect with the Gaussian blur to blur it a little bit, and then you have this kind of depth in the room with the different layers, right? Okay, awesome. There we go. So this is another one from Scott. Did I miss something? No, that's it. From Matthew, sorry, not Scott, from Matthew Snyder. Interesting, okay. Is this from the 80s or is it just his outfit? It looks like 80s a little bit. Okay, so this is the original picture. Interesting, very nice. It's also with these the lights on him, and these kind of ice show color lights that more like how can I say, different kind of colors than a rock concert or something. So it's kind of fitting, I would say, from the light colors that you're using for that. It's pretty cool. It's very nice. He looks like he's holding something, but it's just a fist. I was thinking he's maybe holding a microphone or something, but no, it's just a fist. Like I said, you could create a mask to mask out some of that light, to put it behind him. Maybe you have even done that on the green light, because I don't see green light in his face, but there's a little bit of blue light in the face. So yeah, that's pretty interesting to have that, right? Pretty cool. I would have maybe put a little bit of this smoke overlay that I've created on the floor. They don't have to be smoke, but maybe it would make it a little bit more atmospheric, and also cover up a little bit that there is no light circles or anything from the blue light on the eyes. So the eyes is still white, and you can cover this up with a little bit of smoke in the foreground. Yeah, pretty cool. Oh, you even put some dust in there. Interesting. I'm just seeing that right now. Really interesting. Thank you very much, Matthew. Let's go to the next one. By Kara. Is there? Very slight light beam, right? Let's see the original picture here. 1 second. I will open this up in a new tab so we can have this side by side. There we go. Not side by side, but I can switch between them easier. So this is the original picture. And this is the edited picture. Interesting. So see, that is the problem when, for example, here you have this kind of glow around the light of the candle, but the surrounding is so bright that you wouldn't expect to be a glow around that at that moment. And that is why it's kind of looking strange. And also you want to look at the blend modes that you're using here to have more color in that glow, and to make it a little bit different, right? Because this is kind of sinking into it. Also, what you don't want to do is, if you use this kind of blend mode like screen or lighting or stuff like that, don't use the opacity of the layer, because that will then make this kind of strange looking effect where it doesn't glow anymore, and it's kind of it looks strange, kind of hard to describe. Here was my efforts. I'm not sure what that means. It looks like a lens flare. This one looks like a lens flare. Is it a lens flare? No, I think it's a flare from the it's a shining light around the candle, right? We can copy this over to. Oh, I closed Affinity Photo. 1 second. Let me copy this over real quick, and we can have a look at different kind of blend modes. Okay, so let's put this here, and then I will simply make a gradient here, and we can actually maybe try to use the colors of the candle. Let's see if that makes any sense or not. I'm not sure right now. Gradient, and then let's use this here. Whoops, that was sorry, I clicked the wrong button. Let's sample this color here, like a darker orange. And then we go to a brighter orange. Or a yellow, basically. There we go. Okay. And then let's make this gradient radial. Sorry. Yeah, radial. That's right. Okay, so maybe this. Okay, so now if we blur this, like so, you can see now we have this shine around it just from the blur. Let's put this over here. And then let's see from the blend mode. So that's interesting. So we have lighten, we have screen, we have color dodge. It's not good. And then you have add, and you have lighter color. None of them look amazing because it's kind of too bright behind her. So let's just use here the curves a little bit to pull that down. Okay, that's already more interesting. Let's use the blend modes again. And you can see, for example, that the add blend mode, it's more aggressive, but it has also more color in it. And at the same time, the colors in here are not very strong that we have right now. So you can also go in here, go to the color wheel, which I always like to use because it's very quick. You have these 2 dots here, and then the triangle and the circle, so you have exact understanding of where you are in the complete range of colors you can have. And so you can see that this is in the middle between white and this kind of orange tone. So if I pull this up here, this is getting more colorful as I pull it over here. And you can also pull it over here and it's getting darker. So you can fine tune it like this, and then also go to this part here and you can do the same thing and play a little bit around with that to see what kind of colors you want to create here. You can see on this part is brighter. This doesn't really help us because this is the outside of our light shine. So you want to have it darker. And then when you make it dark, it of course doesn't have light. And if you make it brighter, it has more light. And so with this, you can like fine tune to come close to what the shine would look like around the color. And then of course, at that point, you want to start to shape that so it makes sense on the color. Not on the color, on the flame, sorry. And in that case, you probably want to make a mask on that and then paint in here a little bit. 1 second. Like so. Maybe a bit more. Like this. Make this a little bit harder. And then opacity is okay. Oh, we have a little problem here. 1 second. So the problem that I'm facing here right now, as you can see, is that if I move my mouse around here, it's going willy-nilly, it's going everywhere. The reason for that is because I have a Gaussian blur on the layer. So the mask kind of doesn't really pick up on that because the rest is still blurred. So what you can do in that case is that you put this layer into a group. So Control-G, and then put the mask onto the group like so. And so now the blur is part of that layer of the ellipse, but not of the group, but the mask is on the group. So now if I use my mouse, you can see that the mask is pretty sharp in here, and I can just paint this in here. And yeah, now we have another problem, which gives us this a really ugly border, but we can try something here. Let's see. Can I? Yeah, no. Okay. Well, that's another story where you have this problem in Affinity Photo when you blend something and it has this kind of Gaussian blur on it, that it's for some reason it gives you this kind of really strange blur. So there's another workaround for that, which is a little bit destructive. What you can do here is let's duplicate the ellipse like so, and then turn one of them off and to rasterize on the other one like so. Don't preserve the effects. Rasterize. Okay. It's it's still in the right blend mode. And now if I use my eraser, I can also erase these parts, right? So that was a little bit complicated. Let's reduce that. By the way, now I should also be able to use a mask normally. Let's see. Yeah, that works too. Okay, cool. So let's see. This is too strong. Let's reduce this a little bit. And then we can paint this out around here a little bit. And because this is a mask, it's non-destructive. I can paint it in again if I want to. And so now we have a little bit of shadow on the lower side of the of our candlelight. You see? So it's if I turn the mask on, it's uniform, and now it's not painted in nicely. You want to fix that a little bit, as you can see here. Let's paint this in again. Okay, I'm on the wrong layer. Okay, let's paint this in here again. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. And then maybe paint this out here a little bit more. No, that was too much. Paint it back again. There we go. So that maybe looks a little bit better. Let's see. Yeah, it's a bit better. Okay, there we go. So there's less light in that area here. All right. So that's it. Looks more. It looks like an actual like shine around the candle. Sorry, my brain is okay. Let's go back to the photo. That was a pretty long review. Okay, so try around with these things, mask and adjustments and layers, and see where you can go with that. It takes a while. It's a slow process, but you get cool results and you learn a lot in the process. So that's pretty cool. The rest is very nice here with the fog and the dust overlays, but again, play a little bit around with the atmosphere. For example, maybe make the fog a little bit blue because you have this blue light from the night situation. Then maybe also color these dust flakes a little bit that are in the air. Sorry, my brain is completely like Another thing you can do is to paint in some light situation here, so it's darker behind her and then getting a little bit brighter in front of her. Painting light is pretty complex, by the way. If you want to paint like in here on her face, for example, light from the candle, kind of complex, but if you try that, that's the first way to start to learning that, and the more often you do it, the better you get. So don't worry about it, just give it a try and see where you can go with that, right? Okay, let's go on to the next picture, because otherwise stream is getting too long. Thank you very much, Kara. Oh, nice. I like skulls. I have a real affinity to skulls for some reason. I like the aesthetic, so pretty interesting that you have this very like reduced picture of just the skull, pretty much blackness behind that, darkness, although there's this edge here, and then this kind of anatomic, medical kind of feeling light, really interesting with the little dust flakes in here, so that's pretty cool. That is really interesting to see. Very nice. I really like that. Very reduced. One thing you could maybe put in there is that there is no reflection. There is a reflection of the skull, but there's no reflection of the beam. So maybe just copy this and then put it upside down and put it down here and create a little bit of a reflection, a faint one. As you say, as you've seen, like with the mask, you can paint that out a little bit. So it's fading away over time. And that's, yeah, very useful. As you can see also here with the skull, you see more here and then it fades away, right? So that's kind of it's kind of an easy way to create that kind of reflection. We can, again, let's go really quick into Affinity Photo just for a second. Let me make here, the screen is reflecting. I can't see anything. 1 second. Okay, there we go. So let's make this black here. Okay, and then I will simply create, you know what? I'm creating a text. That's more fun. Let's make the text hello. There we go. And then we want to make the text white, like so. Or we can actually give it a little bit of color, maybe, like so. Okay, cool. So what you want to do next is you just duplicate the text, like so. And then you want to flip it with arrange on the vertical line. Boom. So now it's upside down. And you just drag this down here. And now the only thing you have to do is you make a mask on that. And then you use, again, our magical gradient. And you just draw this out like so. And then draw this over here a little bit like so. And you maybe want the upper part to vanish. Depends on how strong the reflection is. Let's go like this, for example. Yeah. There you go. Can even pull this up higher. Okay. And so you have this famous reflection that you see from the Apple advertisement, stuff like that. It doesn't look amazing right now because it's just a simple text. But if you have a photo or stuff like that, that looks more impressive. And because this is a mask, as I said, you can go in here and draw another gradient, and you can also play around. This is the wrong direction, by the way. You can play around with this middle part here. You can see here, so I can fade between these points, and that gives me now the ability that you see that the starting brightness still stays bright, and then it's fading faster into the dark, like so, right? Pretty easy. There you go. You have a reflection of that. Okay, yeah, so play around with that, with the beam. Thank you very much, Frank. Pretty cool. By the way, almost everybody forgot to include the original picture, so we have a before and after. That would have been nice. Joanne is the next one. Interesting. Okay, so we have some light beams, some very light beams. I'm not sure if you can see much here. In the picture. By the way, I haven't looked on the stream for a long time. Can you see the screen? Yes, you can see the screen. Okay. What link? What is that? Let me read through the comments real quick. That would be cool. Blah, blah, blah. Moving, great. Nice to look at the lens flare. Can you see the link? Yeah, you can't post links, so maybe you can't see the link. Do you mean the link from the pack? I can post that again, 1 second. This is for the light beams pack. There you go. I hope you can see that link. Let me know if you can see the link or not. No, YouTube doesn't allow links. Okay. But I should be able to post links as the host, right? Phil says, you have done a tutorial on text sky reflections onto water. I spent a few hours today using warping text, but failed. Have you done a tutorial on text sky reflection onto water? The problem is with water is that Affinity Photo does not have a water surface distortion effect, which is very strange because it's like really old technology, but they don't have it. And so this makes it really basically impossible to make a nice water reflection from a picture or text, stuff like that. There is displacement, that the displacement is not really great as an effect either. I've made a video about that, by the way. If you go to my channel, let's go to my channel real quick. I made actually 2 videos about that. One that is a little bit more up to date and then an older one. Displace. Yeah, here, displacement effect fixed. So this is the newer one, and then there's also this older one where I put a text on a wall. You can check out both if you want to, but it doesn't really do a nice reflection on water kind of thing. So that's a bit of a problem. You might want to use some other tool for that, other effect. Maybe Gimmick can do that, I'm not sure. And you can also use Luminar, which now has, with the last update, included also when you make a sky replacement that it is reflecting onto the water. By the way, I should do a review about that. From my Instagram. I see. Okay. Okay. Good. Okay, so very nice, very subtle effect. I'm not sure if you can see that in the stream. So there is some moonlight beams coming down here in a very slight blue-violet tone onto that scene in a night garden. It's a pretty cool effect. I think it adds some cool drama to the picture, but the picture is very dark. So like I said, you might not be able to see that in the stream right now, what is going on here. Pretty cool. Thank you very much, Chuan. I'm not sure what else to say to this. Pretty cool. Okay, there's the next one from Brett. Mythical light beam. Here we go. Okay, cool. So this is in a monastery. Do you say monastery in English? I'm not sure. Okay. The one thing I'm kind of confused by here is that well, first of all, the light direction is coming like directly from outside. So the sun is usually coming from the top or like a higher angle, unless this is morning light where the sun is coming right over the horizon and shooting in on a kind of vertical angle here. So the kind of beam is I would put it maybe a little bit more downwards, and then also you have this fog here and the particles, which is really cool, but they are brighter over here than they are here at the actual light source. So that shouldn't really be the case. And by the way, in this case, again, what you can do is to use a mask with a gradient on that to have a light fall off. I haven't shown that actually in that video today. We can also have a look at that right now. Let's open up the picture we had before of that guy. Did I not down? Ah, there it is. Okay, so I will put an overlay in here real quick so I can show you the light fall off effect. I'll point it at camera. Let's do this. Let's use this one here. Okay, so let's put this onto the picture like so. Make it really big. And then I blend this. So now we have this effect in here, and now I want this light to fall off the further it is away from the source, right? So the way you do that is you create a mask onto your image, and then you want to again use the gradient over here. You set this to radial, that's important. And then you just draw this out here, as you can see. By the way, this changed strangely enough, it changed the mask when I changed to radial. So we don't want to have this. So let's draw this out first. So this, as you can see, is linear. It's kind of cutting it off in a straight line. Doesn't really make sense. So what you want to do is to switch this over to radial. And now, as you can see here, I can set the starting point over here. And then I can have, you can see this is creating a circle around that. And this is creating a fall off of the light that is around the source in a circular fashion as it should be, right? And so now if I also adjust this a little bit, let's go here with brightness and contrast, push up the contrast a little bit and push up the brightness a little bit. You can see that without the mask, this would go completely over the picture. And with the mask on, there's a radial fall off around the light source. So this is very easy to do. You can also use other forms like ellipses. Depends on where you want to navigate or where you want to put the light, right? Okay. Yeah. So you can do the same thing with the. Sorry. Let's show this also. 1 second. There we have the dust. Let's use some smoke here real quick. Put this here. Like so. I put a mask on that like so, and then again I use my gradient like so, set it to linear, to radial like this, and then as you can see I can have a sort of fall off. Let's put it like this and then push it over here like this is okay. And like I said, as soon as I go away from that, this is rendered as a gradient into my mask. So after I have created this, the gradient is still in here. I can now use my paintbrush and I can paint out the other parts that I don't need. Let's do this real quick. For example, over here, this is not great right now, sorry. Let's make this softer. I want to zoom out a little bit. Give me a bigger brush. Okay, there we go. And then I'm also going in here, make the opacity, let's make it like 13% or something, like so. Make this a little bit bigger, sorry. And then just put some strokes in here so it's getting a little bit uneven, make this a little bit smaller. That's too small. So you can just like paint in here a little bit to make this a little bit more uneven. So it's not exactly the same, gives a little bit of structure. Yeah, that's it basically, right? And so now you have like a spreading out. It's brighter to the source, less bright where it goes away from that. And of course, again, you can go in here with brightness and contrast, give it some more contrast, which it doesn't do for some reason. Brightness doesn't work either. What is going on right now? Hello? Oh yeah, it does work. Okay, it just works very lightly for some reason. Okay, there we go. Good, that's that. Okay, let's go back to our image. Thank you very much, Brett. Pretty cool. How many more do we have? Oh my God. Okay, I have to go a little bit faster, although we have talked about some of the biggest problems, so the rest should be easier. What is happening here? I did this woman dancing on the street using both the free mythical overlays, one of the orange effects and one of the blue effects. Why is it so dark and so like flat? Because the original pictures, this is the picture of the woman. And then this is the picture of the street, which has a lot of color in it. I kind of think you used the wrong blend modes for that. when you put the effects onto the picture, like you made a nice selection around the woman, put that in, but then I don't know why it's getting darker when you put in light beams. It should get brighter. So I'm not exactly sure what's happening. I'm seeing a little bit of a light beam coming towards the camera back here, and then there's another light beam coming over here. But at some point, you kind of used the wrong blend modes, I guess, or you adjusted it in a very dark way. Also, you're reducing the contrast in the image very much. There's also some kind of, if you look at this part here where the arm is, this is kind of burned out, as you can see here. So I'm not exactly sure what is happening here, but you kind of went wrong at some point. So have a look at my tutorials again, at the videos that I created, and follow them step by step, because this should be brighter, not darker. That's kind of confusing. I'm not sure how that happened. Yeah. All right. Oh, wow. Someone actually used this on a daylight picture in a very bright way. That's interesting. Okay. So you put some fog into the forest, which is really cool. This is the original forest. And then you use these beams in here, which, well, they are more like stage light beams or city light, like industrial light beams, not natural light beams. I made the pack that I made last month, sorry. That's more natural light, like sunlight, sun rays in the picture. So this is very focused. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, you could probably use it in that way, but it looks too intense here. Because also the rays are diverging a little bit too strong here. If they do that, like if you have God rays in a picture, let's have a look at that real quick. Unsplash. I mean, yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Let's have a look. I mean, here it's also diverging pretty fast on a short distance, which is interesting, right? I've never thought about that. I do understand why these light beams are converging when it is a huge distance, because this is very high, and so this is an optical illusion. They are actually parallel lines. They're not converging at all. But I don't know why it happens here on this short distance. Interesting. I have to figure that out. Anyways, so you need to do something different. Like if you look at these rays that you can see over here, they have softer sides. They are not a spot in the, you know what I mean? I mean, here it's more of a spot. But it doesn't look very natural. There's something strange going on. You maybe also want to play around with the contrast so that these areas in between are getting darker. You see more of the background, so these become more of like individual rays. Maybe that's part of that reason. And also the light fall off is very strong. That might be a reason, but it kind of looks strange. Picking up a lot of tips with these reviews. Thank you very much, Jay. I always hope I can give you really good input. Okay. I've been in the forest in the Pacific Northwest in the US where the light comes through the forest exactly like that. It does? Well, okay, then I guess it does. That's interesting. I've never seen it like this in this kind of stage light beam. But I guess it can do that. I mean, yes, there is sometimes like you have like rays like this, for example, that are happening. But I mean, there's a very like focused, I don't know. Maybe it is. Something looks a little bit strange about that. But if you say that's how it looks in your region, maybe. I don't know. Okay, let's go on. By the way, it's really cool, Nadine, that you managed to integrate this here on a daylight picture and still the beam is visible. That's pretty awesome. Very nice. By the way, while we're talking about that, if you have a beam and the beam is too weak, what you can do to make the beam stronger is simply to duplicate the layer. Look at that. Boom, brighter beam. And then you duplicate it again, and boom, even brighter beam. So this is a very easy way. Don't use levels and try to push it hardcore to the limit, because this will destroy the values inside of the layer. Just duplicate it and see what you can do with that, if this gives you the expected result or not. And because now they are blending with each other also, this means that you get this kind of burned out light that is way too bright in here, which is also, I would say, if the beam is getting brighter, you get this kind of burned out area because there is much more light, much more brightness in there, right? So this is a very easy way to just make a beam brighter and still have it look natural and nice in the picture. Also not losing the colors and stuff like that, right? Because as a comparison, if I would go in here and, for example, use curves and push that up, let's see what that looks like. You see that kind of destroys the values. If you go up here, you can see here at that point it starts, you get this color bending, everything breaks up, it looks horrible. Whoops, okay, that was too much. Also because I'm hitting the top here of that area, you can see if I go down here, it still doesn't have that, but it's not great. So duplication often works a lot better. Give it a try. You can play around with the different methods, right? Okay. Let's go back here. So we have to go we have to go a little bit faster through these. Another one really interesting. Again, for some reason, the picture is darker. Let me know in the comments in the Facebook group why, what you did so the picture is getting darker when you add brighter overlays that should actually brighten up the picture. It's really interesting. Maybe you also pulled down the picture, made it darker with curves or some other adjustments so you can see the light beam better. That could be a reason why the picture is darker now. So yeah. That's interesting. By the way, if you make these adjustments, as you've seen before, what I've done is make the adjustment, but then paint into the mask of the adjustment, or make a mask for the adjustment, stuff like that. So you paint the light into the picture where, for example, it is darker on the left side and then it's brighter on the right side. And you have, depending on where the light source is, you can make these areas here a little bit brighter, darker, these areas, and these areas here a little bit brighter, stuff like that. And you can also, another thing you could do is that in the shadow areas, you also reduce the saturation a bit, because when we have less light, we also at the same time see less color, because the way our eyes work can't pick up the color anymore. This is why when it's dark in a room, you see basically everything kind of black and white, because we don't have the receptors in our eyes to create color in this low light. There is actually the same amount of color as in daylight. You can't just see it because you see it black and white at that point, right? Kind of black and white. Okay. Hi, how are you doing? Thanks for joining. It's going through water? What is going through water? Okay, anyways, let's go on. Thank you, Richard. Pretty cool picture. Oh, here we have another one from Mike. Oh, very subtle. Okay. It's so subtle I can't actually see where you put that. Is that the original picture or is that the edited version? I'm sorry. I made this shot from the guitarist on the band Sorcerer at the Hammer of Doom Metal Festival in Würzburg. I think these types of images are particularly suitable, good for imitating the lack of light on location in post-processing. I added 2 beams and the fog as well as the Gaussian blur and blend effects. Is this the picture where you added it? Or is this the before picture? If this is the after picture, it looks very realistic because I can't tell. Are these my light beams here? I'm not sure. I have no idea. This looks very realistic. Where's the smoke, by the way? This has to be the before picture, right? Is there a second post? This is from Hamish. No, this is it, right? Wait, there's some more comments down here. Ah, before and after. Am I missing something? I mean, if this is the after, it's very impressive because I have no idea if this is actual light or my pack. Can you tell? Can you say the difference? Pretty cool. Very impressive. All right. Awesome. Let's go into the next one maybe and see if maybe Mike is still in the chat to tell me, because I think he was in the chat before. Someone told me about a concert photography. What is going on here? This is from Wiki. Wow. That is pretty cool. There's no text, sadly, on what he or she was doing. It's pretty impressive. So this is kind of this dispersion effect. I like the light, the pink, the violet light that's going on here in the dispersion effect. I'm not sure where you used my light beam for this, so very strange. This is the original picture here. Is this actually part of the challenge? Because I don't see a light beam in that. It's pretty cool with the dispersion effect, pretty impressive. But it doesn't really fit the challenge, or at least I can't understand where the light beam would be in that, right? Okay, anyways, let's go on to the next one. But it's a really very cool work. Thank you very much. Okay, let's go to Hamish. By the way, did I not post that you should post the original? Reply to your own comment with the unedited image. So I wrote it in here. I thought I forgot about that maybe. Okay, let's go here. Hamish. Wow. Okay. Power. Okay. There's a lot of light going on here. And also smoke. Pretty cool. Wow. Very powerful. One thing you could do here that kind of stands out a little bit is that you have this smoke texture, and it's kind of it's in front of him, but it's also behind, or this kind of looks like it's behind him. So maybe use two smoke textures that have a different structure, and then have this behind him a little bit different than this in the front. And you can also see that, I mean, the smoke could all be in the front. We don't know, you know. But if you would put in a second one and make it a little bit behind him, maybe a little bit darker, maybe a little bit different from the color, you get more volume into the smoke, and then have this kind of smoke in this area here a bit different from the smoke that's going on here in the front, right? So yeah, but otherwise it's pretty cool, right? Another thing, by the way, to give smoke more structure is that you can use dodge and burn. This is one of the best ways to create dimension onto things like that have their kind of volumetric, I think you say to that, right? Let's copy this over real quick. Let's go here to new from clipboard. All right, and then you can see here I make a pixel layer, and what you want to do here is let's go to one of these brushes. Let's go with, I don't know, dry media brush, maybe this one. You want to set the pixel layer to soft light for the dodge and burn effect. Then you want to open this up, and then what is darker makes it darker, what is brighter makes it brighter, obviously, right? Sorry. You want to set the opacity rather low, and then let's make this a little bit bigger. Okay, cool. And so now I can paint in here. Let's do this real quick. A little bit. I do it on the left side only. You can see I paint in here, and you can already see that the brighter smoke is kind of coming towards us, right? Like so. And then I can go here darker, and I can paint in these areas here, and this pushes the smoke backwards away from us, right? Like so. And you can also, of course, work with different brush sizes. Let's make this a little bit smaller. You can make even structures in here that have a little bit more like smoke feeling to them. So you can spend a lot of time on that if you want to. Let's reduce the opacity even more to give it like a softer impact. And you can see, I mean, this is too much. It's like it's too intense for that. But you can see that this gives a structure where this has more of a volume, right? So you want to play around with that. And by the way, afterwards, you can make multiple of these layers for different areas if you want to, which I would really suggest to you, because then you can adjust them afterwards individually. That's really important. And another thing you can do is, for example, you say, okay, this is too intense, but you want to paint it in like that so you can see it better. And afterwards, you simply reduce the opacity, and you can see now when I am at 50%, this looks a lot better. And still I have a little bit of structure in my smoke, right? And you can also think about, where's the light coming from? Where should there be highlights on the smoke? Where should there be shadow from the smoke, right? To make it also reflect the lights in the, not reflect, but pick up the light situation that you have in the image, right? Okay, and you can see even from a distance, it gives it more structure, and you can really see where there's round shapes in there, because this is how we define round shapes with our eyes, that apart from seeing stereo is where is it darker, where is it brighter, and then you see a round surface, right? Okay, good, there we go. Let's go back. So pretty cool, very nice. Let's go on to the next one. How many more? Oh, we only have 3 more. That's pretty cool. We have a little bit over 2 hours. Okay, interesting. Another very dark image. For some reason, the beams go up into the sky, which is interesting. This is from Peter. I was late today, so a quick 5-minute action. Okay, for 5 minutes, that's okay. Supposed to show the darkness in the street that is otherwise filled with people and light. Interesting. I'm still not quite sure why the beams go up into the sky. And again, you might want to, I mean, the one on the left looks pretty cool, was pretty realistic. The one on the right, it looks also not too bad, but it's a little bit intense on the lower part and doesn't really have a source where it's coming from. So here it looks like this is some light that's on the building. So that is kind of cool. And over here it's kind of, where is that? What's the source of that? And what is it lighting, you know? But like I said, sorry, for a 5-minute edit, that's pretty cool. And you can't expect like a whole story and everything created in 5 minutes, right? You take a lot more time for that. So thank you very much for trying it out. Pretty cool. And I hope you got some lot more information through that stream. There we go. Okay. So here we have another one that's a daylight situation. And like I said, it's not natural to see a light beam in daylight. That's kind of not really happening. And if you have if there is daylight and there is a light beam, then the light beam is happening in an area where there is shadow, like a forest or a cave or some other kind of situation, the shadow of a building, and then you have a light beam going through, or like there's a darkened room and then the light is coming from the outside. So there has to be some darkness so you can see the light beam, right? Otherwise, it's kind of swallowed up by the sunlight, because the sunlight is basically brighter than any artificial light you can create on a permanent basis. You can have flashlight, of course, but if you have a LED light, a permanent light, and want to put that against the sun to make it brighter, not really happening. Okay, cool. So, and this is also why then it doesn't work. It doesn't blend right, because also in the software, it's kind of trying to simulate the same thing, and then it doesn't really blend so well. So it's kind of hardly visible here. And again, it's a bit confusing why there is pink light in the otherwise like normal natural forest. So think about also the light color. What kind of light colors do we find in nature? You find pink light sometimes, but more at sunset. During the day, you have more either blue light or yellow light. Often it's a mix of both, which is also, by the way, if you want to create natural light in, for example, Affinity Photo or in 3D software, stuff like that, if you use a little bit of blue and then another light source that is a little bit of yellow and mix them together, you often get a really natural light, because sunlight is not just white that we have coming down from the sky, even if it looks like that. Okay. There we go. Okay, let's go to the last one, which is this one from Michael. Meine Version Licht, Staub, Rauch. Wow, okay, there's a lot of stuff going on. Pretty cool. You could have made the room a little bit darker at the areas where there's no light beam to make the light beams a little bit more apparent, but it's still pretty cool, right? The light colors that you have here are different from the ambient light we are seeing in the rest of the picture. So you have this kind of yellow light, warm yellow light coming into the windows, but the rest of the room has a more blue light, like, I don't know, I'll say what kind of daylight situation that is, but you can see here from the ceiling and stuff like that, that the color of the light is different. Also outside, you don't have this kind of warm light here. So either maybe make a bigger contrast between them or bring them closer together so they reflect each other from their qualities. You know what I mean? UFO beam. Oh, okay, interesting. that could be that could be the case. Yeah. By the way, it's always a good source to look at light sources and see how they. We could look here. Let's see, light beam through window. So often it is very useful to look at. Well, if you find them. Look at pictures and what the natural light is, and then you can pick from that, or to look at artificial creations like paintings or stuff like that. Let's go to Pinterest here real quick. Light through window. Let's see. There we go. Okay. So you can see here you have different kind of light situations that you can find in these pictures, and then you can get a better idea what kind of light colors you would find and how they react to each other. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't really have that. But the good thing is on Pinterest, and this is why I really love this tool, is when you click on one photo, you go down here, you get a lot more photos like that. And so you can see the kind of light qualities you have in here. And that's really interesting. Like, for example, here you can see that you have this warm light in the room, and then the light that's coming through the beams is more this kind of very bright, whiter light, not an orange light. So there's a contrast in there to the background. So that's interesting, right? And you can compare this to other light situations. Here you have more like a blue light coming in. And then interestingly enough, down here you have orange light, which looks kind of strange. I'm not sure what is going on here. Maybe this was changed in color afterwards, or maybe this is because it's blue smoke. This could also be a reason, because we have a fire down here, so maybe the room is filled with the smoke, and smoke is kind of blue, right? So that might be the situation, because up here and down here you have orange light. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah. Oh, it's also orange because of the wood on the ground. So another reason why it's orange. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, so it's interesting to kind of study these kind of light situations. And the more you get the colors right, and the more you get interesting color situations, you can do really a lot with that. Like, I would say at least half of a good edit is if the colors are good and artistically good. Not realistic good, but artistically good from the expression? How do you say that? Sorry, anyways. Expression, yes. You want to do, and the other one is the editing, right? So everything comes together with that. Does it fit at the end, right? Okay. Pretty cool. But I really like how the light is falling into here and how you created volume inside of the light with the smoke. So they really look like they are not just flat beams, 2D beams coming down there, but they have like a real volume that you can step into, right? So that looks, from that point, it looks really realistic. I really like that. Pretty cool. Okay, so that's it for today. Wow, that was again a pretty long stream. Thank you very much for watching. That was a lot of fun again. Oh, I talked so much today. I hope you enjoyed that. It was really cool. yeah, and have a nice Easter Monday tomorrow. Enjoy that. Stay safe, by the way. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. Let me see about the music here and the end scene, so I have everything prepared. There we go. Okay, so again, happy Easter, stay safe, have a good time. Hope you enjoyed the stream, and see you in my next tutorial on Tuesday. Bye!